If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. So without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about Dak Prescott. I'm really excited for this one because I had been talking about Dak for a while now. Near the end of this past season, and then even afterwards, because we were talking a lot about the Cowboys. What are they going to do? How do they improve? And now apparently it's being reported that Dak is to reset the market with $60 million a year. Okay, I just think that's hilarious. I mean, I just think that's so bonkers that Dak Prescott can continuously prove to just not be that guy. And yet you're going to pay him like that guy, and then you're shocked when he does not perform as that guy. So I have so much to say with regard to this, but I want to hear what they have to say first. I have to imagine they're going to say similar things as me, but I really don't know. But, you know, the thing that I just always keep saying is you're going to pay someone like Patrick Mahomes, but they're not as good as Patrick Mahomes, and then you expect them to win like Patrick Mahomes. And it's like, well, it doesn't really work that way. So I want to see what they have to say, so let's get into it.
I said the biggest story this offseason is going to be Dak Prescott's going to be the highest paid player in league history, and people are going to freak out. And that was right before we had a perfect Dak Prescott season for this exact conversation, which was his best ever regular season and arguably his worst ever postseason moment or game. And so here's the deal. Like, the Cowboys put themselves in this spot. They gave Dak Prescott a no-tag clause. They gave Dak Prescott a no-trade clause. And they keep borrowing from Dak's contract. So his current cap hit is $60 million next year. And if you're just like, all right, we're going to swallow it and deal with it and move on, the year after, it's $36 million for him not to be on the team. So they have to extend him. They have to rework it, which means in a world where Justin Herbert got $52.5 million and no one batted an eye, Dak Prescott, it's going to start at 3 years, $175, which is $58.7 million a year. And the reason 3 is because he wants to be back in this position again. That's just Trevor Lawrence is about to get $56 million a year. Whether you guys like it or not, it's going to happen. And in that world, Dak's going to get this, and people are going to lose their minds. And the Cowboys kind of have no options because it's really untenable to have him play on his current contract, and then you also could lose him for nothing.
Well, I remember going back to 2020, we're in a pandemic, and everyone's sitting on these home shows, and to break the fourth wall, it's like, hey, we're starting the show with Cowboys. I don't care if you like it or not. We start the show with Cowboys, all right? And everyone was freaking out over whether Dak was worth $35 million. To your point, salary cap has gone bonkers. Look at the top paid quarterbacks right now. I requested this screen here. Look, guys, Dak is already 10th, and when he signed it at $40 million a year, everyone freaked out then. It's gone absolutely bonkers since. Jalen Hurts is making $51 million next year. Yeah, Dak will make 60. Dak is a very good quarterback. And when he makes 60, the next contract will be 65, next one will be 70. This report, which comes from Jordan Schultz, I don't think it's necessarily one of these where it's like he's getting a deal, but it's a bit of speculation, but I'm not going to bat my eye at it because I think that might be the going rate by the time we start negotiating for Dak Prescott, whether it makes sense at home or not.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, who did win? He was the highest paid quarterback in the league. Matthew Stafford in Detroit was the highest paid quarterback. So it is just the timing of it. I'll tell you what, though, if I'm Jerry Jones.
2 quarterbacks who went to the Super Bowl, one of them winning a Super Bowl. He mentioned Jalen Hurts also went to a Super Bowl and was going to win the MVP, but got injured within the last few games and lost it to Patrick Mahomes. But it was pretty much the consensus that he was the MVP, unless you're a diehard Chiefs fan. But so this whole idea is just kind of silly. And I understand that they're going to, it'll reset the market, so eventually he won't be at the top, but this is just clearly not a recipe for success. I just wanted to interject that real fast.
I am sitting down with Dak, not his agent. I'm sitting down with Dak and saying, look, you make a ton of money off the field. We got to pay CD. We got to pay Micah. You want to win here. You will go down as a legend. You will go down maybe as the best Cowboys quarterback ever. I mean, Staubach, obviously. But, if you win a Super Bowl, but to do that, we need our other great players. I'm not insulting you, Dak. How about 52? That's what Lamar Jackson's got 2 MVPs just signed for. Just last year. So I wouldn't insult him, but I would try to get him to not break the bank and set the market. And so I don't know if Dak would go for that.
There's been one quarterback in the history of modern football who has agreed to that or has even entertained it. It's Tom
Brady.
Just one.
And that will be part of the argument, too, if I'm Jerry. Like, look at Tom Brady. He did it. And so, again, look, Dak's within his rights. I'm not going to kill him if he says, I want as much as I can get. But if I'm Jerry, that's my first step. Let's try. Because Dak knows he didn't deliver last year. He probably in his mind is like, I do have to do it. He hears the teammates chirping, or at least their families. So maybe he would be like, you know what? I get tons of money off the field. Maybe. I just try it. I'm not saying he would do it.
So here's the thing. I want to go back to this list here. Okay. He's going to be making more than Patrick Mahomes. And this is where I almost just misspoke when I said before, when I started the clip off, where I said he wants to get paid like Patrick Mahomes, but not be as good as Patrick Mahomes and then win like Patrick Mahomes. And it's like, but here it is, like, you're going to be making more money than Mahomes. And I believe that Mahomes is going to make better deals similar to that of Tom Brady, because that's what it takes to be able to win. We talk about this all the time. The recipe to winning is having a good quarterback, good to great or amazing. Obviously, it helps if it's amazing, on a rookie deal, okay? Then you can build the team around you. Or you have a decent quarterback that you're not paying that much money because either it's a rookie deal or it's like a backup quarterback who just got a shot, or, you know, like a Baker Mayfield type situation where it's like a second or third chance, like that type of situation where you're not paying that much money. And then you're able to use that money and really build around you. You need to have players around you. Just ask Justin Herbert. Just ask Kyler Murray. Just ask Stafford. Stafford was dying out in Detroit with not a good coach and not great players. He had one great player, obviously, in Tron. But outside of that, who did you have? And then as soon as he went to Los Angeles with a real team around him, with real coaching, boom, they won. I mean, even Tom Brady needed Antonio Brown, right? Even Patrick Mahomes needs Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill. You know, he needs all those things. Everyone needs those players around them. And so Dak has these players around him, and yet he still fails. So then again, you're now going to be taking even more money, because the reality is that if Dak Prescott took less money, okay, and then they were able to make a play now at like Mike Evans, A.J. Brown, because again, I always use A.J. Brown as an example, or Diggs, you know, because these players seem to be disgruntled, and so there's the potential of you being able to get them, but you can make a play. But if Dak Prescott is getting paid $60 million, you can't afford those players. But if he actually takes a legitimate, like a good deal, and if he just re-ups for like $40 million or $50 million, then you can get Derrick Henry. Then you can get Diggs. Then now your team is stacked. Now you're building a 49ers roster. And imagine, like, put it this way, whether you think Brock Purdy is better than Dak Prescott, it's actually irrelevant, because you can't deny that Dak Prescott is more of a veteran than Brock Purdy. He's been in the league longer, right? It's just time. So you would imagine, because I don't think Dak Prescott is just a complete spaz. I would imagine that if he played for the 49ers and he had Kyle Shanahan as his head coach, Dak Prescott would be even better than he is right now with the Cowboys. So the only chance that you can have at success in that regard then with Dak to get over this hump is to build the team even better, to maybe get a better coach and to get even better players than you already have, which you already have a really good roster. But if you pay him all this money, you can't do that. Not to mention, I don't even know if what I'm saying is 100% true. I'm going to be real with you, because they talk about that he had his best season last season. They beat up on terrible teams. I no longer have this list with me anymore, or do I? No. Of all the teams they beat, they were all teams with losing records who were awful. And the only team with the winning record that they beat were the Eagles, who were awful, and the Detroit Lions, who blew that game. I mean, it's seriously, it's ridiculous. And they even lost to teams like the Miami Dolphins, who were never really that good in the first place. And again, I keep saying this again and again and again. Dak Prescott has a losing record, career-wise, a losing record against winning teams. Okay? I forget his average, but it's like something like, it's like 30% or something. Win average, like win percentage against winning teams. So he never plays good against these great teams, against good teams. He never pulls it off. So he's not good enough. So yes, you can pay a Patrick Mahomes all this money or even a Joe Burrow because they are good enough to carry the team. Dak Prescott can't even be just part of a great team and win. That's really what it comes down to. And how can you pay this person all this money with no success, with repeated big playoff failures? Now, you can probably say, well, what about, Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl, it's clearly legit. And then you say, well, what about Justin Herbert? Justin Herbert is clearly elite. He has not had a team. He has not had a coach. So, and it's unfortunate that you've had to pay him before he's been able to show any of this, but it's very obvious that you can see that in him. Lamar Jackson, it's very obvious that he is elite. Jalen Hurts got his big deal when he led the team to the Super Bowl and outdueled Patrick Mahomes. He lost, but he played unbelievably amazing. Russell Wilson has won Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl and went to another one, but they see his deal as terrible, as a massive disaster. It's going down as one of the worst deals in the NFL. Kyler Murray, again, also showed tremendous potential, but his career was derailed by an injury, make no mistake about it. And also, it's the Arizona Cardinals, an incredibly historically poorly run franchise. So you can't put that all on him. Watson, I'm not even going to address that. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, right? And Josh Allen is Josh Allen. Josh Allen is amazing. You would give that guy all the money that both Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, because you just look at them and know how amazing they are and how elite they are. Dak Prescott has never done even anything 90% as well as Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. It's just not true. And again, Stafford shows up in the playoffs. Stafford steps up against the best teams and in the biggest moments, and he wins. He wins. Make no mistake about it. Matthew Stafford is why they won the Super Bowl, okay? No look passes. I mean, his veteranship, everything he did, okay? He is legit. I don't know why there's so much hate towards Stafford. I mean, the guy's career was wasted in Detroit. Just a fact. And Daniel Jones, again, no reason even really talking about him. No disrespect to you, Daniel Jones. You got your money. Congratulations. Happy for you as an individual, but there's no real point in unpacking that. Again, I'm not going to look to the Giants for being smart here. Also an incredibly poorly run franchise for the last 10 years or so, 10 plus years, honestly. So I just think this idea, and again, from a human perspective, it's like, go ahead, Dak, get your money. But don't tell me that when you get all this money that you're then all about winning. Don't tell me that it's time to step up and do this and do that, because it's not. The only person who really put their money where their mouth is was Tom Brady. Okay? And stop telling me that it's because his wife made a lot of money. That has nothing to do with it. Very little to do with it, I should say. Not nothing. Very little to do with it. Okay? Very little to do with it. It's like, just because she was making money, because he's already made a ton of money. It's not like they were like, oh, babe, I'm sorry, I just don't make enough money. We're just going to have to, the only way we can live our lifestyle is based on the amount of money that you make. Like, that's not what it is. They're not even remotely spending that money. The combination of money that they make, they're spending only a fraction of it. So this idea that he was only able to do that because of Giselle is just not true. That's not rich living. They're not living beyond their means. If they were living beyond their means, then yes, that could be the reality. That's not what Tom Brady is doing. Also, Tom Brady's very smart. He ended up getting a divorce, obviously, as everyone knows at this point. Divorces typically don't just happen like that. They're not all happy, smiling, everything's so great, and then she's like, I want a divorce. That's typically not how it's happening. So believe me, Tom Brady, he's not a moron here, right? So he knows that he needs money, that he needs to continue to make money. So it's not just like he's like, whatever, Giselle's making tens of millions of dollars forever and ever and ever, and I never have to worry about it. Like, these were real calculated decisions for him. They just were. And so again, and even Patrick Mahomes has come out and said, like, he's going to try to structure his deals that help the Chiefs be able to build a good team around him, because he knows how important. It seems like the only people that really understand how important it is to have a good team around them are the ones who win consistently. You know, the ones who win one off or the ones who have never won, they don't seem to understand. But it seems like the teams, the players who actually have won consistently, obviously most notably Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, they get it. And is it any wonder why they're the ones that consistently win? It's like, shouldn't you listen to them? Shouldn't you listen to the ones who consistently win? Aaron Rodgers hasn't consistently won, and he's consistently taken as much money as he can. And he hasn't even sniffed a Super Bowl in 15 years or something. How many years at this point? What did he win in 2010 or something? I forget the exact year. 2010, 2011. He hasn't sniffed the Super Bowl in nearly 15 years. So he doesn't know. What about Patrick Mahomes? What about Tom Brady? They know. Follow their lead. Everybody wants to be Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. There's a saying, everybody wants to be Mr. Olympia, but nobody, everybody wants to be big and jacked, but nobody wants to lift heavy ass weights. It was by a famous bodybuilder who said that. It wasn't the exact quote. And that's what it really feels like. All of these QBs up here, they all want to be winners. They all want to be the GOAT. They all want to win not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Super Bowls. But then they don't want to do what all the quarterbacks who have won multiple Super Bowls, lots of Super Bowls, have done. Just weird how that works. It's very weird. But not surprising. Not surprising at all. So, what do you guys all think? I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you think Dak Prescott should take a pay cut? Do you think he should just get that money? Or do you think the Dallas Cowboys should try to deal him? Would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. If you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, please let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And I read every single comment. And please do consider subscribing. As I said, we are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And I just really want to build a true community here, and we really are well on our way to doing it. And it's honestly really awesome, and I truly appreciate all the support. Thank you so much, and see you next time.